Hey, I was about to say good morning. It is good morning. And welcome to the regularly scheduled December 2022 meeting of the Riverview Town Board. May we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Mr. Boggs,
Present.
Ms. Marino,
Present.
Ms. Olson,
Here.
Ms. Bouchard,
Present.
Mr. Goldman.
Present.
Thank you. Caitlin, can you take this microphone?
Thank you, Martha.
How come we can't see who's here? Hi, participants. We know. Enough. We know. Oh,
I'm
isn't that,
reviewing the vouchers as I was.
that's what we-
Oh, that's cool. We should
Never
have
seen
that.
these screens.
Thing like
A
it's
deep
in-
dive in Zoom library.
Yeah. Oh,
It is exciting. Okay. You guys are like squirrel.
oh yeah,
cracking.
yeah, little avatar.
Exactly.
Usually it's in people's faces.
I think when they speak, we'll get to see them. Maybe there.
Gallery. Oh,
That's not the gallery. How fun.
oh, maybe that's why. We're the only ones that have video on.
That is allowed. Okay. So we have an agenda posted. I was hoping this is as an update, if I could add an item after item N of new business related to the uniform code update.
We're really going through the alphabet here.
We are cranking through. Would folks be amenable to add that? Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written then with the addition?
So second.
Wonderful. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. I just have to remember to actually do that. Okay. We are going to start off with a public hearing on the 2023 fire contract for the village of Trumansburg. Do I have a motion to open to the public hearing?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this is an opportunity for members of the public, of which we have none in person, but if there's anybody online who would like to make comments related to the 2023 fire contract, we can take those comments now. And raise your hand or wave, or can't really see you, but if you if you go on video, I should be able to. Oh, wait a minute. Anybody interested? Not seeing anybody interested. Going once, going twice. Okay, then we'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. We'll move on to privilege of the floor. We have a period of time, 3 minutes per person. If there's anyone in the public who wishes to address us. We will have a second one later at the end of the meeting, but if there's anybody who wants to address us on non-fire related issues or fire related issues, you may welcome to do so now.
You guys might want to see that.
Okay, well, I'm not seeing any of that either, so I will move on to liaison and chair report. It is the first meeting. And I do know that our county legislator is not available to update us at this meeting. And I don't see any other, Roxanne, of course, you, but I don't see anybody in the public who is a committee chair. Would you like to update us now, or did you want to do it later?
I can do it whenever you want,
It's up to you. It's your call.
okay, so, I guess I could update on the CSAC, we, had a really good meeting, a few days last week. So we have the youth members are very enthusiastic and we're working with them on, ideas of what they'd like to do and what we could help them with and
Wonderful.
they could help us with. And so we got a bunch of good ideas and I think they'll keep participating. And so, yeah, so that was great. And we have a new member, which it's on the agenda to add,
Yeah.
who would like to come. She came to the meeting and has been participating, so.
Wonderful.
Yep, we talked more about the bees, but and Mary has that later for putting
Yep.
some people on the committee. And I think that's about it for CSAC.
Wonderful.
I
Um,
have stuff also on the water,
sure, go ahead.
if you want that now. or
Sure, why don't we just, yep.
Later under board members, doesn't matter.
We can, well, why don't we,
I'll
that'd
do
be,
that at the end.
that would be
Yeah.
great, because then maybe we can just transition directly into the old business item
Yeah,
that you have.
sure. So that was all I had. on
Great.
that. But so I didn't get to pass this out because I was doing
Thank
that
you.
sooner, but I just tried drafting resolutions because Carissa had pointed out, having an actual wording of the resolutions for
Okay.
appointing people might be a good idea. I mean, we could, obviously, I'm not wedded to them. I was just trying to be helpful with the things I was bringing up. Thank you. So. And I only saw her email and so then did it after that, just later this afternoon, so. Anyway, so are we on the comp plans? Steering committee?
No, we are on the CSAC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, the
comp plan's
CSAC.
not for a while.
Right, okay, I'm sorry.
That's
But
okay.
the CSAC one is at the bottom of this resolution, which is, the applicant's name is Marissa Nolan.
Oh,
And,
Oh, just a sec. Nope, we were gonna do the, right now is the description update.
oh, right, that first.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry. We're gonna do all the committees at the end if that's
Okay,
okay
I
with you.
thought-
I'm
yeah.
sorry
I got it.
for the confusion.
Sorry.
No
Okay.
problem.
I got a little discombobulated when doing those.
I understand.
later. Oh, sorry. All right, I will get that. Okay, right, so the update of the CSAC, we had brought this up in August. And then we decided to, let it go for a bit because it wasn't urgent, but then it was just on the list of things, coming towards the end of the year. And so the board had discussed, since this resolution formed this committee for a year, and it's been going since for several years, and we've done a lot of things, that it would make sense to make it a standing advisory committee to the board. So in the text that I sent, the wording that's different than what the original one was is in blue. So that's changing it to a standing committee. And then the composition of the committee, the New York State GML Article 12F that we're saying that we're going to follow the guidelines of, appoints members for 2 years at a time. And so I thought that you did staggered terms, but I couldn't find what that was, but I think you did that I wasn't at the organization. meeting
Yeah, I
after, so-
can look that
Right.
up.
So that was just a question I had. So the way it was worded before, the chair and 2 to 8 additional members, so 9 is the maximum. And that is also in that GML law wording. So if we want to stick with that, the way we say that we'll operate under those guidelines. And the way we have been operating, it's a maximum of nine members appointed by the board with staggered terms. As described, I wasn't sure if you ever adopted that in organizational meeting or if we wanted to put that in, or we can just say with staggered terms and get rid of that for now.
I'm checking the organizational meeting document.
Okay, and then I just added on here that up to 2 members who are between the ages of 16 and 21 may be appointed to the council. That's also in the New York State GML.
Is that in addition? to
That
the
is
2 to
very
8?
unclear. And so I think it should be an addition because, they kind of come and go and
Yeah.
everything. And so that cuts your standing working members down quite a bit. And they also, may not be appointed on 2-year staggered 2-year terms because they're, the ones we have now are in
Junior.
high school. So, so I think we should interpret that as in addition because they're youth members, but I mean, that's up to the board. And so then,
We do have terms in staggered terms.
okay,
It is of the organizational meeting of this past January.
okay, so. But maybe we don't have to say that, we could just say staggered terms. And not
Yeah.
cite that in this resolution
Yeah, I
that
think that's fine.
establishes it, okay, so we'll just delete that part and just say with staggered terms. Okay, and then up to 2 members who are between the ages may be appointed to the council and just leave it amorphous, but I think. That would preclude us from having even the number we have now if we brought both of those 2 high school students on, and I don't think we should exclude high school students.
Right.
so. Right, and so then the example,
Sorry, so we're deleting the highlighted section that says resolution at organization.
yeah, we're just leaving with staggered terms. I didn't know if that's what had been decided, so I was kind of left that. That's what I said, the highlighted things were things to talk
Yeah.
specifically about. And so then, in the original resolution that established the CSAC for 1 year, there were, suggested topic areas to work on, and those were somewhat broad, but also somewhat specific to the needs of the time, like looking at the solar law and a couple of other things like that, that the board particularly wanted the group to do. And so I just went through these and sort of, so they're not all in blue, but they're somewhat edited from what those were to be more general and to also reflect the work that the committee has been doing and is going to be ongoing doing. And so the one thing I have highlighted there, presumably everybody had time to read this, but we can talk about or answer questions on whatever you want. Is that yellow where it's in creating inventories and maps of open lands within the town. So that I wanted to highlight because that, if we stick with the GML, the New York State GML guidelines that we're following for this committee, that is something that is supposed to be done. It's like required to be done, actually. And so I think that I think that is kind of going to be covered under the enough, it would seem, under the update of the comprehensive plan and gathering all of that information, but it's just something that we say, we're working on it. It doesn't necessarily say when it has to be done. We're supposed to be working on it and create these inventories and maps of open lands. Like, it's not even really totally clear what open lands are, so I think, with all the work that's going to be happening with the comp plan and the CSAC will be involved in that and all, it seems to me that we will be meeting that, but I did want to highlight that to see what everybody thought, which is why that's yellow. And then the only other thing, resources from the town, that reads the same way that it always did, but just to remind everybody, when it was originally established, the board said that the town's staff could assist with the preparation of the annual report, which is another thing that the CSAC is, I had totally forgotten that until I read this over, is required to do as per the New York State GML. And I think, that in the future, that will be easier going forward from adopting this kind of a standing committee resolution, because, we have a secretary now, and we are, looking at the material that's on the website and, working on drafting content to update it. And this would be one thing, putting the revised tasks and resolution on there, but so I mean, I don't think it is a problem to write a report. We just have never done it before,
Sounds good.
but it can certainly be done.
The only question, I was fine with everything. The only question I had is, the reporting section shall make bi-monthly reports. So, and forgive me,
Oh,
sometimes it's
report.
bi-monthly for every other month
Right.
or twice a month? Cause I
I
think
don't-
once a month is probably.
Yeah, I think, well, I don't know where that must have been in the original thing that the board at that time passed. But I think monthly is what I was always doing.
Yeah,
Sometimes, I was at the second meeting, well, I was always at the second meetings, but I didn't always say something for CSAC. So, I mean, I think
there's
monthly, and then
monthly.
if there's more to report to the board,
You
then
can always do that,
certainly it
yeah.
could happen, so, yeah, I think that's right,
Okay,
You
yeah,
wanna Change it to monthly?
Yeah.
yeah.
that'd be my recommendation. The rest I was fine with.
Okay, so
I
that's,
appreciate it.
that's what we have.
Anyone else? Any thoughts, comments, or,
I have one.
okay,
Back to the two members between the ages of 16 and 21. I'm wondering if it should say up to 2 additional members, just to clarify that they're not part of the 2 to 8.
Yeah, sure. The law, the
Maybe-
GML just says up to 2 can be appointed, so it doesn't really, it's not really clear if they count in the, but I think we can say what we want, which is
Sure.
that it's additional.
sounds good. Any other thoughts? And Carissa, you actually circulated, or to us, circulated a resolution. Did you put a resolution?
I didn't put that one on,
Okay.
okay, sorry.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to.
I did it pretty fast.
Well, then I would,
Did you find it? Cause
I
couldn't
did,
find it. Okay.
resolve that the Ulysses Town Board, reestablishes the Conservation and Sustainability Committee as follows, noting the scope of work and sample projects may vary from time to time, with this being the document that we're moving. I would move that. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, Roxanne.
Sure.
Helpful to get that stuff cleaned up.
Right,
Otherwise, the
well, I
language
mean, we
is-
were starting to say, okay, we need to, put them in, put everything on the website, and then we read that, which makes sense to have there, and it's like, oh, this is really wrong.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
It's evolved.
Okay, would the board be okay if we moved up, item D? And item H and item I, if you have any questions on it, because Michelle is, present. Michelle, are you there? There she is. Hi, Michelle, out of
Hi,
courtesy.
yes,
to
I am
staff,
here.
Are you guys okay if we move those items up quickly to talk about before we jump into the rest? Wonderful. So, item D is the authorization to secure general liability accident and cyber insurance. Was that, we did get, and it's been it's included in the resolution packet. It is on page, number 2. It is the second full resolution down. Michelle, was there anything you wanted to say about the general liability insurance? Or
Well,
was that you?
mostly, that it really reflects what's going on in the global economy. General liability insurance is up across the board, and our brokers are getting a lot of pushback with the efforts to try to keep it as low as possible. So the next steps are going to be, we're going to go, well, I'm suggesting to the board that we go with our current carrier. And we work with our broker to take a look at some different models with the different deductibles that we have to see if we can get our premium down. So, Caitlin, I believe you have the final number. The number that we're working with right now is within budget. And so, this is the result of some pretty extensive applications for multiple carriers. And our broker tries to get the best deal for us with the best coverage. So it's the best effort at this point, but it is worth, I'd like to put this on the Finance Committee 2023 work plan, is to take a look at our process for applying for insurance and trying to see if we can do some problem solving, because this is one of those set costs year after year that we're going to have to work with. And I just want to be creative about the approach with it. So that's all I have to say about it at this point.
How much increase is it?
Right now it's like an 11% increase. It's pretty wild, but it's across the board at this point, all the increases I have heard, and it mirrors what we're seeing in all other sectors like this, is that people will have a hard time finding employees, so they have to increase the salaries, and that's just one variable.
So, our current quote is for $34,932.40, but that does not include cyber. We budgeted $37,986. But that would include general liability, cyber, highway bond permits and mid-year changes. And so what we are advising, so basically we have to have insurance. But to Michelle's point, we are trying to further reduce the actual premium by altering some of our coverage, correct, Michelle? You're gonna go. into
Basically
conversation.
increasing our deductibles, working with our broker to increase some of our deductibles that would make it make more sense. Because really, at a certain point, we want to try to avoid insurance claims if at all possible. So there's some deductibles that can be changed to really reflect under which circumstances we would be applying for an insurance claim.
You mean like a risk assessment of the possibility of claim?
Yes,
Yeah,
Just
but
a-
not like a super formal one, but yeah, working with the broker and working with the carrier on those types of things. And so this will, we have to get this resolved in very soon. So our broker is currently reaching, he's been in contact with the carrier today, and I'm hoping to hear from him in the next couple days.
so this effectively is the most we would spend. We were hoping to drive it down
Correct.
further.
Correct.
So, what we need to do, and it was like pulling teeth. I mean, we had our applications in plenty of time. It was pulling teeth to get them to actually provide the quotes early enough on a municipal schedule, because everybody else can wait if you're not a municipality. So the resolution is resolved that the Ulysses Town Board authorizes the town supervisor to sign documents to secure general liability insurance. And be it further resolved that the Ulysses Town Board authorizes the prepayment of general liability insurance coverage through Tokyo Marine HCP, which is our broker. This would, again, the amount is not gonna get, it should not, it will not exceed the 34,932 that we've already been quoted. And 40 cents. Is there a second? I will move that.
Second?
Any further discussion?
So Caitlin, did you want to put that amount in?
No.
Okay.
No, because we're hoping the number is lower, but we're certainly not gonna spend, with a quote, we have no incentive to ask to spend more. We're not going to.
Should we have in there then not to exceed 34,932?
I mean,
For,
you have to get the insurance. don't you?
and we budgeted, it's within our budget.
Yeah.
It's within what we budgeted, so it's up to you if you'd like to do it.
Uh,
Okay, I can guarantee you I'm not signing it more than that, so. I have no interest in spending more. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay, the next was item H, establishing the SW3-232 and SW3-844 capital reserve fund.
884.
I'm sorry,
Did you say 844? Or is it 884?
884, I'm sorry if I misspoke that. I was not intending to. Michelle, that is on page 3. The first full resolution. Michelle, would you mind walking us through why we're doing this?
Sure, yeah, so the town, as everyone remembers, is in excellent shape as far as formally establishing its reserves. So this reserve was implicated in the 2022 budget. And so the town approved this long ago, and this is just our way of documenting it for posterity's sake.
This isn't saying how much is going into the reserve. Is that-
Correct. That's correct. So a little piece about that is that we have the budgeted amount, and there is no requirement because it's in the budget and it was passed in the budget, there wouldn't be a requirement to include it in here.
I think I mean, you have to establish these funds by resolution, so I don't think because you put different amounts in every year, so.
How much did we put in the budget for the reserve? This reserve?
Michelle, can you hear Rich's question? He asked. how much we- or-
How much did we put in how much did we budget for it? I am gonna look that up right now. I think it's like 17 something or other. 1 second. Sorry, I should have had this up and ready.
That comes out of the water district.
Correct. Yep, this is all within the water district fund. So, so we said 21,998.
Okay, was there a motion to approve the establishment of this capital reserve fund?
Second,
Yes, wonderful. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. And then we have 3 resolutions related to the Bridge New York application for the Curry Road structure and Maplewood Road hairpin curve. The first one is a gatekeeper resolution. That immediately follows the resolution on page 3 for the capital reserve fund. The way this works is if we are applying for a culvert, because it currently is a culvert on Curry Road, it's a definition of a culvert. Even if it becomes a bridge, it's still culvert funding at its current juncture. New York State will fund 100% of the cost for eligible projects as long as they stay within under $1 million. We are going to, we want to have approval to apply for 2 Bridge New York applications. Basically, we are replaying with improvements, we hope, 2021's applications. Michelle, is that an accurate interpretation?
Yeah, I'll just say that these 3 Bridge New York related resolutions mirror the exact process that we went through back in 2021 when we did the application for those 2 culverts.
These are expensive town assets and they need help. So, any questions on our Bridge New York resolutions? We've got the gatekeeper one, the one on the back page. We don't have to take them all as a set. I'm just going through and explaining them. We solicited the resolution on the page 4 at the top, acknowledging a professional engineer consultant. We requested proposals for different, we requested expressions of interest, I should say, sorry, from a variety of engineering firms, and a variety of them submitted. We scored them internally with Scott, Michelle, and I, and we would like to select Barton LaJudas to assist the town in applying for the 2023 Bridge New York funding. So that's that one. And then the final one is simply, we have to have it on record that the town, even though the town is taking the other 2 actions potentially, we need to be on the record that we have supported the Bridge New York application. So those are the 3. Does anybody have any further questions for Michelle or me?
So this is a different application than the other one we put in.
Yes.
It's another
So you-
similar, but
Yes.
another one. Okay.
Yep. So we did apply for DEC funding for design of, was it 6 culverts, Michelle?
Yes,
DEC
correct.
fund?
Yep.
And, it would be a lovely problem to have all the money. If we got both, but there's no reason to walk away from applying when we have pretty much all the pieces together. And this application would be for both design and installation of the culverts. So any other questions? Do people feel comfortable moving all 3 resolutions as a package, or do you want to do them individually?
yeah,
Okay,
fine.
then I'll accept a motion to approve the 3 Bridge New York resolutions collectively. Will someone move that?
So moved.
Second, wonderful. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. Michelle, we didn't have anything else for you on the agenda, is that correct? Am I missing anything that you wanted to hang out for?
Not on my end. I don't want to disrupt anything, but if there were any questions about the vouchers or I might be able to help, but no, nothing on my end. Thanks, everyone. Happy holidays.
Bye. Thank you. Okay, let's pick up where we left off. And where we left off was back up at the top of new business. I apologize. I see there are two number sixes. New business should have been number 7. I don't know how I missed that. Now I'm just noticing that I missed that. Oh, well. Item A, the 2023 fire contract for the village of Trumansburg. We are required to provide fire services. They are our kind of only option at the moment that we can afford. I did not print off a copy for everybody, but if you would like to look at the physical copy of it here, it was posted on the website and we had a public hearing. The numbers have not changed since budget season. If there, I would, we did our public hearing. I think though, I screwed up on the date of the public hearing because the public hearing is actually on the 13th. And Carissa, I screwed up. The public hearing was held on December 13th, not December 12th. So that means one alteration. So apologies for that. We're agreeing, we already have agreed in our budget, but this contract agrees us to pay $226,537 for services. This is actually a slight reduction, not an 11% increase from 2021. So is there a motion to approve the fire protection contract, fire protection district agreement for 2023? Excellent. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. And we do not have to do a public hearing for it because we are not required to provide ambulance service, but we do provide ambulance service at a higher price point than fire. The EMS contract with the village is $449,771. And that would cover the township for 2023. It is also with the number that we budgeted for. It does reflect a increase of just over 8% from the previous year. Is there a motion to approve that contract?
So,
Oh, I'm sorry. I just
Go
got
ahead.
one question.
Sure.
On it, which is, have we been getting the quarterly reports?
We get, we get a breakdown from the village about how many calls they're responding
So
to.
as per the contract,
Yeah.
we do get that.
Yeah, we actually get it, usually we get a monthly.
Oh, okay.
So,
Just as long as,
yeah,
I know into the past, it was hard to get it at all. And so I didn't know if we wanted to tie something into it if we weren't getting it, but if we are, that's fine.
yeah, usually they're pretty good to be delivering them monthly.
Right.
Any other questions? Great. Is there a motion to approve that contract?
move that.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Well, we are cooking with fire here, folks. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the Excel healthcare contract for 2023. And again, something that we,
Is this our current
yes,
carrier?
it is.
For vision and dental.
But they also have one for.
I'm sorry, it's not, shouldn't say in the resolution, it shouldn't say vision and dental, it should say Medicare and dental, so it's only one contract. I apologize.
So these are extra offerings that are outside of the healthcare consortium.
Yes. Yep.
And the Medicare is.
on Medicare.
For
Yes,
retirees
retirees.
or, does it cover, current employees who are over 65?
We don't have it.
I don't know.
Oh.
I could check on that.
I
um,
wonder, would that, maybe that's
Yeah,
something
I
the
don't
personnel
think we have
committee
it.
would be.
Good question for 8 AM tomorrow. I think Lixi's gonna be with you. She should be able to
Yeah,
answer that.
yeah,
I don't know off the
I'm-
top of my head. Or even the bottom. So,
So it seems like this is now $409 a month. With the Medicare, is that an
Medicare
addition?
supplement?
Is this in addition to what you just approved? Is there another, is there gonna be another bill for? I'm confused. We, in the budget, in the bills, we paid $408 a month for the
mhm.
retirees. Does that include the dental insurance?
I believe so. I actually, I don't know. That's a great question. I don't,
408?
Yeah, it was in the mid threes last year.
That's a lot.
A lot. It's a lot. This whole issue needs to be discussed. Which we're gonna take up in the finance. committee.
I can't wait to hear my view. I honestly, I genuinely hope that there are better solutions to
I
be
hope,
found.
I hope that does include it, dental. You know, my husband just got a supplemental. Covers everything. It's like $203 a month.
Really?
Yeah,
From who?
from, Celus, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
And he's retired?
Yeah,
We should.
Isn't this what Elixir brought to us?
Yes.
She, during, way before budget season, she brought the proposal to us for this. And she had a whole, I don't know if the numbers match, because this was,
No,
12
she
months
would,
ago.
didn't she bring what we adopted with Blixie Bro was the change to the platinum?
isn't what this.
This is-
no, this is
No,
something else.
This is dental and Medicare.
No, this is outside. This is outside of the healthcare consortium. This is.
Right.
Yeah, this is dental and Medicare.
But is it that dental format then for the retirees or dental for everybody?
I believe it's dental for everybody. Yeah, all active. Yep.
Well, active, what about retired?
I don't think we do dental for retirees, but
I'm confused.
I obviously to the, because I've done something else. When I was reading through it, I was like, okay.
Oh, we've already
It was
approved
really thick, yeah.
the platinum plan.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and I thought this was, you know, for 23,
Yeah.
but
Right.
I thought I was
That's
looking
what I
at.
was asking in the beginning.
Yeah.
If that's different, it's in.
yeah, the dental is for
It's
employees.
Consortium and these are the contracts you have.
Don't
Yeah.
Medicare, Medigap thing. But we never, when we looked at it before, it was always more expensive
Right.
than this. I don't know if that's true anymore.
It might be worth something, yeah, that might be very worth explored. To the best of my understanding, the dental is only for active employees.
Right.
I just pulled up, the search through the contract, that specific item. I know where we are.
The way I read through it, it looks like we're out of time with that, because I think it was dated November, early November. This has to be approved by before, like 21 days before it goes into effect.
Right, it expires, it doesn't, the contract, I have to sign the contract by tomorrow, I think.
Hmm.
So I haven't signed it. And I mean, what I can tell you just from, and I can't speak way back, this was signed without the board reviewing it in previous years.
This is what?
This has been signed by,
Oh, yeah.
signed by the supervisor without the board reviewing it. I don't do that though. So that's why I think this is
But
probably the
this is
first time we
supposed to
brought
say
it.
for Not-vision, for Medicare.
Right,
Dental.
and yes, it should be
So
Medicare
it's
and dental.
All right, so it's very confusing to have in the same sentence. A provider that's just for Medicare and the dental part isn't for Medicare or for the retirees. So it's very, very confusing. You understand my?
No,
confusion?
I do understand. I can promise it, I can, to the best of my understanding, based on the way the contract is written, it is for active employees.
Well, or maybe we could just
But
say
then
it.
why-
I'm sorry.
Then it should, the dental is, but you still want to put Medicare in there, not the.
Yes,
That's what I'm
Medicare.
confused
The
about.
only thing in the title that should be changed is Medicare instead of vision.
I'd be happier if they were two separate resolutions.
Or you could maybe make a whereas that, whereas the town provides, dental insurance to active employees and Medicare, whatever it is, Medicare, insurance supplement to retirees, through the Excel as healthcare.
It doesn't make sense to have, in the same language, have one contract for Medicare, which is completely different than the dental insurance for active employees.
But it's all built into a single contract, so
one
there's only a single resolution.
I guess I'd like to see the contract.
It's posted on the website. I can print you a copy if you'd like.
I mean, I'm just,
Chris, is that possible for you to print from there?
Yeah.
Well, if it does have to stay one big resolution, because it's one bill, maybe.
Yeah,
it's
I
worth
think we could-
considering to adding the whereas, so it's at least clear that the dental is for active employees and the Medicare is for retiree supplement.
Nate, since you're on the call, is there anything you want to weigh in on? There you are.
Yep, sorry. I'm just wondering, right? So the agreement speaks for itself as to who is a member of an eligible group for coverage of the benefits being provided by the agreement. I mean, so the resolution is ultimately approving the contract for insurance with this company. If the hangup is just the specific language in the resolution, because it appears in the resolution language that it's authorizing something that maybe you're not sure about. I mean, the agreement itself does what it is. And so just change the resolution to approve the agreement. Don't reference
what I'm
specific types and things.
questioning if we were understanding the agreement properly. Given it's about two completely separate issues. Dental insurance for employees and vision is being changed to Medicare for retirees. I just don't get how in what world would you put that together?
It's on a single contract.
But that's what I'm wondering. Well, wouldn't it make sense to have it in separate contracts? Employees, and retirees?
I guess they bill us one amount, so maybe off of one contract.
Maybe that's what we did, but it's certainly not clear to me.
I'm just looking at the agreement. Yeah, I mean, the certainly the way that Excelis has set this up is apparently one agreement. Now, if you'd like to, I
As
guess,
long as the agreement is absolutely really clear, and I'm voting on what the clarity of the agreement is, I'm fine. I'm just, my antennas are up here. In terms of one agreement covering such disparate elements. And I could see that it could be easily misinterpreted, just from the resolution, who it's gonna cover.
Well, we could, as Nate suggested, just take out the for Medicare and dental insurance and just say approve Excelis healthcare contract, and then it's in the contract that it does.
Right, so
I think this is
Most of it, it's still printing.
Oh, it's a big one.
Yeah, so having the Medicare, which is 408 per month, that does not include the dental.
Wow.
We were talking about earlier. Areas. 140 per month. So it's like,
And here's the balance.
who is, I guess in the town responsible, was it Michelle for, just understanding? Because I mean, I unfortunately, I think I'm not the right person to explain your the healthcare benefits.
Blixie is.
I think it's pretty well spelled out in the contract. It's like. It seems to me like you can pick and choose what you want off the Excelis menu of options, and we've chosen Medicare and dental. So they're like, here's your contract for the items that you have selected.
Medicare or medical.
Medicare.
Medicare.
Because we don't use Excellus for medical.
No, we use the healthcare person,
Well, which Excellus administers.
but it's a different kind of contract.
So where, where's the box? First, do you see the box where,
Which one?
you said there were
Shadow?
boxes checked. This is the plan features. Medicare Blue PPO copay plan, but this is talking. This is.
So it looks like the Medicare ends on page 37, and then the dental stuff starts on page 38.
Medicare. I don't see page 2.
Oh.
They're numbered differently on the physical copy.
They're one page behind it.
Okay, there's dental. But I don't see dental. Just, where does it say the dental just applies to employees? You're
I don't
saying the
think it
dental
does.
does not apply to retirees,
Well,
right?
it says dental, all actives and Cobra. At the very first cover page. Above Dear Carissa Parlato.
Um, Why don't we go on? I'll come back to this. I just want to check something.
Okay.
I don't think it's been moved and seconded yet, right?
No. Okay, let's move on then to, item E, best value local law. So, the best value local law, is connects to, you have a one, well, it's a two-pager, but it's double-sided. So it's technically only one pager, but, so, and Nate, I'm gonna try and do this correctly, and then you can step in if I'm in fact wrong. So in our, we're updating our procurement policy. And in the procurement policy, we, will be updating our procurement policy at their organizational meeting. We're not doing that tonight, but, in the procurement policy, we have language to the effect that, that there's, we have the ability to select vendors based on best value. Sometimes the best value may in fact be a vendor who's local or close by, who's slightly more expensive, in bidding. But, the proximity of that provider means that there's value to, there can be value to the township that helps justify the selection of that vendor. But Nate pointed out that if we're using, justifying best value, and that's perfectly normal, that happens, that's not an unusual thing, in municipalities. It's a lot easier if, we pick somebody in Tompkins County rather than Denver, Colorado for a lot of things. But we need to, adopt a local law that explains how contracts are awarded to best value bidders. So Nate, can you step in and now be more specific?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you actually really hit the nutshell well. It's focused on expressly authorizing best value awards, which take into consideration immediate dollar considerations into contract awarding. So the example of somebody locally versus somebody in Colorado, great example. If you have to send something out to Colorado to get fixed, it's going to cause delays in getting it fixed and returned. It might be more expensive to ship it. And so those aren't immediately recognized at the bid price that they might offer you. But over the lifetime of the use of a particular thing, you will end up realizing cost savings. And so this is just really a recognition that, somebody might sell you it for a low dollar and then get you on the other side. And this lets you really reflect and take those things into consideration.
And so the purpose for tonight, this is the model law, and it's been in effect in New York State. You said about 15 years. Is that right, Nate?
Yeah, give or take. I'd have to pull it up exactly, but.
But we'd be adopting the model law, and we would not be adopting it tonight. Tonight, we'd be setting a public hearing on this local law. And I'm proposing that we schedule it for 7 p.m. At our regular January 10th meeting. And it should actually be 2023 because we are out of 2022. So that would be, I'll make a motion to approve scheduling a public hearing. Is there a second?
Second?
Is there any further discussion on this? We can discuss it further after we do a public hearing also. Everybody has a chance to review it, but if there are any questions, Nate can
Does that
answer.
open us up for any challenges for bidding? I mean, is it subjective or, is it?
Yeah, so ideally, when making a decision to award a contract on the basis of best value, you will be, or whoever is tasked with reviewing the various bids and trying to quantify that, ideally they'll create a rubric and be transparent about the rubric and how they're assigning, determinations to whether, a warranty is a good one. Somebody's warranty is better than someone else's, or the distance is further and that we believe that mathematically that will result in savings. Like ideally, even though it appears that there's some fuzziness to it, in the actual process of reviewing and awarding, there should be some thoughtful, fleshed out, documented decision making as to the award. So could it be subject to challenge? Sure. Because it's not as simple as just looking at who's offering me the lowest. But again, when we're talking about best value, there is, like with anything, always some potential for challenge.
Great. Well, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? If not, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the scheduling a public hearing on January 10th, 2023 at 7 p.m. We can receive comments. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. Okay.
I just back to this.
Oh, sure.
What's checked in box 1.1, healthcare benefits to plan sponsors, employees or members. Aren't the retirees members of the group? Members?
I'm sorry, I don't know what page, I don't know where you are in the document. Can you tell me what the title is and I'll just do a
Addendum to master.
addendum?
I just find this extremely confusing, because I do not see where it clearly states that the dental justice for employers, but if you know where it is, I'm just showing you.
Well, they wouldn't dictate, coverage, would they? That would be in our
think they
personnel
would.
plan.
I think we give them the names, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what we said.
Yeah. So it's not something that would bother me, but
And so it would be our policy
Yeah.
as to who we're gonna allow to cover, and then
No,
we would
this-
give them the names.
Not necessarily, not if we're,
It would be?
this Medicare Blue PPO copay plan, once you sign it, you're agreeing to this coverage.
I thought you
yeah,
were
but
talking
we
about
tell
the
them
dental.
who is covered.
Right, all right,
Right.
okay,
And that's governed by the personnel policy.
Yeah,
all right.
they don't look at our employee list and say you should cover this.
Right, it doesn't have in the contract the number of
Right.
people, right?
Right.
No.
Yeah. So
Okay, are there any other questions about the Excel's healthcare contract for Medicare and dental insurance. Okay, is there a motion to approve the contract as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Second, any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay. Moving on into item F, scheduling the 2023 organizational meeting. That is on the resolution packet. Number, man. So this is why you shouldn't put your resolution packet together when you feel lousy, because you miss like, holy cow, my English teachers would have a field day with my screw ups. So I'd like to schedule the organizational meeting for Thursday, January 5th, 2023 at 8:15 a.m. if that continues to work for board members. Is that still okay, or motion to
Yeah.
approve? Okay. Motion to approve resolution?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Where was it on that for January 22?
Not here?
Yeah.
This is for January 2023. Local law.
Oh, I was.
You're
looking at
talking
the
about-
Quote for the,
Oh, the quote.
For the insurance?
yeah, if you page you do that, I keep seeing 2022. January 22.
That's what it's not. I haven't. Vote effective 1/1/2022. So that's when it becomes effective. Oh,
That's in the past.
Is in the past.
that's in the past. Vote effective 1/1/22. Good call. This is January 1/2022.
Well, see, that one's not my fault. Oh, no, but I'm so substantially to blame for the ones in the resolutions. I did not get that one. Nate, do you see that as being a problem?
You're right, it's the other, with the dental, it says 1/1/2022 to 3/31/2022.
Caitlin, I apologize. I didn't quite catch the question.
In the
So,
documents, the Medicare copay plan says code effective January 1/2022, as well as in the dental, it says the first 1/1/2022 to 3/31/2022. So it's out of date. What do we do with that?
does that make sense to you now, Nate? Or do you want me to restate it?
We could approve it for.
Sorry.
Yeah, for
Well, it stays the
2023.
same At those.
Yeah, I think insofar as it looks like they put the date in wrong. Approve the contract to be effective January 1, 2023, and authorize the supervisor to sign an amended contract reflecting the updated date.
There's also shown the amendment to the master group agreement effective January 1, 2022.
What I'm gonna do is I'm going to, the electronic document, I will look at it quickly. Give me just a sec and see if the one they shared electronically has the dates corrected. Give me just one sec.
Yeah, the one I'm looking at is on the web.
The PDF is how it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you have the electronic copy they sent. I have the document to sign. I'm just gonna see if there's a difference, if they adjusted it. Yeah, no, they left it as 2022. So I would just reach out to them and have them amend that. Do that right now. So Nate, do we need to modify the resolution because we moved and passed it? I mean, I'm not gonna sign this until it's in 2023, so I appreciate that catch. But should the board pass a new resolution?
Well, I think your resolution says the town board approves the Excelis healthcare contract for 2023.
Okay,
And so I think, what we are all recognizing is that, yeah, they need to change the date on this. And so once they give you the 2023 contract, you'll sign that one. So yeah, I don't believe you need to change the resolution based on just how you've worded it already.
okay, great.
Just make sure the prices are.
Yeah, the prices are
They didn't accidentally.
right.
Right,
Put in the 2022 price.
Yeah.
I will make sure. Okay. Yeah, we can. Okay, done. Okay. By done, I do not mean I signed. I did not sign. I told them I will not sign. Okay, thank you. We will get that squared away. Okay, I think that, let me just double checking. I think that brings us down. Oh, nope, that brings us to safety. Safety concerns. So, there was over the Thanksgiving period, there was an accident at the intersection of Curry Road and 227. I've had one area resident reach out to me from around that intersection. Scott, incidentally, when I reached out to Scott, he was in the middle of a conversation with another area resident about that intersection. I'm sorry.
What's wrong with the intersection? I drive it every day.
So there have been in the last 15, 20 years, it sounds like every few years, there's a fairly sizable accident that happens at that intersection. And the town board last June did send a letter to DOT requesting a speed study of Curry Road. They're 2 years behind, so they haven't gotten back to us one way or another on the speed study, on the results of the speed study.
The Curry Road or 227?
Curry Road.
Because people just blow through the
Yeah,
sign.
there's no sign on 227. There's a
No.
stop sign on Curry Road.
Yeah.
Right, on Curry
Right.
Road.
But if
So-
you look, I mean,
Do
But
people
this-
get in
people-
accidents because they
they're
run the
not,
sign?
they're not looking.
That's why I was wondering what the speed study has to.
Well,
for
it
Curry
didn't,
Road has
yeah,
to
so
do
it
with-
was, no, I'm just letting you know, that's part of
Okay.
the history of the area.
Or why it would help, I guess that's.
So that's an unrelated matter, but it is something that the town has done related to Curry Road that we don't have information about. I did talk to our highway superintendent. He thinks larger signage would improve the situation potentially. It sounds like the real issue seems to be happening, that people are running the stop sign.
So you mean a bigger stop sign?
Yes. But
Maybe
we,
it's flashing lights.
That's a county road, right?
no, this is all under state purview.
But Curry Road is?
No, the Curry Road is, I believe is ours. But the intersection falls within state right of way, so they control the signage.
Sure, I mean, I'm surprised there's a real problem because it's clear you have to look left and right. So
It's not an intersection I personally drive very often, so I've never had an issue. I've never personally had an issue there. There was concern by a couple of residents that, life flight has landed in somebody's, essentially field to life flight,
Lifeline,
like,
Lifeline?
The helicopter.
The
Yeah.
Oh. I'm happy to have a bigger sign.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, whatever you can help and hurt.
yeah. So basically,
oncoming traffic does not stop.
yeah,
Yeah, they're going
Put that up for
55 miles an hour.
At least.
yeah.
Well, they just cleared that shoulder, whoever bought that field, they
Right,
cleared on that hedgerow on the
that's right,
west side of
yeah.
227.
So what do you need
I
us to
didn't
do?
think the line of sight was that.
It's
bad.
not.
Yeah.
But what do you want us to do?
So basically, this would simply ask, the DOT to, we're not authorized to make any changes to signage. We would request that the DOT conduct, a safety assessment of the intersection. Including a review of its accident history. I mean, that's pretty much
That's fine.
that's all we have the right to ask for.
Right.
So,
If- But if it's our road, can we just ask Scott to put bigger?
no, because the signage falls in the DOT's right away. So the signage is controlled by DOT.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Well, maybe we can put a
That's the
sign
reason.
farther down the road.
Exactly.
Stop sign. coming in.
FYI,
Stop
please
ahead.
stop ahead, yes. Yeah, no. I think this is one of the biggest irritations of, that I've discovered in town government,
Oh, is
Is-
the road thing?
is
Yeah.
how roads are managed,
Right,
yep. So yeah, so we're just asking for a safety assessment.
Right, so moved.
Second, any further discussion or comment? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay, now we can move on. Yes,
Can I butt in with a quick good news announcement on DOT speed study requests?
is there a new one?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not
No,
know
I'm
this.
sorry, it's a response from the DOT regarding a request for a speed limit reduction on Falls Road. They say that they agree it could be reduced to 50 miles.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious.
Premature celebration.
I'm pulling my celebration
Sorry.
down. What?
5 miles?
Trying to build it up so much.
I know.
So that runs all the way down Falls Road?
From Cemetery Road to Tagana Park Road.
Oh,
yes.
okay. The whole road.
That's hilarious.
Jeez.
Is there any place around here that has 50 miles an hour? Nobody has 50.
No.
No, okay, well. Fantastic, okay, well,
You have to calm down for
Gonna-
your celebration.
yeah,
Wasn't too exciting.
yeah, I'm gonna amend that celebration. Huh.
Right.
Okay, anyway, okay, thank you very much. I think we passed that. Well, that's just lovely news. Okay, that brings us to committee appointments. The CSAC to the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee and to the B Committee.
I don't know if you wanna.
Oh, I think I
move that
have,
If you need it. if
I-
you wanna move
I
it.
have the one, or is that different?
Well, this is the people that you were gonna move.
Oh,
to
yes.
Put on it. I didn't know if you wanted to do that.
Sure.
Yeah. And this is the,
Did you email us?
I know, but I can.
That'd be great.
I just, if, and I can edit it if we wanted edited. I just, I was following your lead of like, oh, maybe we actually need real resolutions, especially for
Yeah.
things like
Mhm.
the comp plan steering committee. And the EMC. So after we go through it, if it gets edited at all, then I'll email it to you.
Okay,
Okay. Anyway, just trying to be helpful here.
nope, I appreciate that. So do you want to start with CSAC?
Whatever you want.
Yeah, go right ahead. Go start with
Okay,
CSAC.
so for the CSAC Conservation and Sustainability Advisory Committee appointment, that one's just the bottom one of the page here, and it's just a really simple one. It's be it resolved that Marissa Nyland is appointed to the Town of Ulysses Conservation Sustainability Advisory Committee, I think it's called council sometimes, for a 2-year term ending December 31, 2024. And so that was the person I told you, she sent in an application to the town, I think I attached it when I sent.
Yeah, she was
that
at
out.
the meeting.
And she came to the meeting and I met with her. She'd also expressed interest in some other committees, the comp plan steering committee and some other ones, but she wasn't sure. So I met with her and talked to her about the various things each were doing and shared some other information with her. And she came to the CSAC meeting and she's an environmental educator who works for Cooperative Extension in Schuyler County. And so I think she'll be a great addition and everybody on the committee agreed. So I guess I would move that resolution.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Excellent. Okay,
And then this one wasn't actually on your list, but I was made aware of the EMC representative.
Oh, yes, yeah,
Right, well, I was made aware at the CSAC meeting because Kate Darkler is the
Yeah.
vice chair of the EMC. And we had wondered about the Ulysses rep before, and we had somebody on the CSAC who would be interested in serving on the EMC as the town's rep and coming to report and all, if we needed one. And so Kate looked into that and she said that Mark DeBocatus, who's our current rep, was interested in moving to be an at-large member since he didn't really have the time to also participate with CSAC and come to the reporting and all. And so Christine Collins, who's on the CSAC currently, had gone to an EMC meeting because she was interested in it. So she said she'd be interested in taking that seat if we needed it. And so she's going to fill out an application that Tompkins County appoints people to the EMC, but they need just a recommendation from the town board to go to them.
so the best I know, so we appointed Mark in the organizational meeting and he's never resigned from that position.
Right, so I don't know if
So,
he is resigning. This is what Kate said, so I don't know
Okay.
if she had some other information on that.
well, he's on my list this week to finish I have my final list of people to contact the organizational meeting just to check on their terms and Rich has been really helpful with planning a BZA. So I think maybe
Well,
what
we
we could
could
do,
save this then.
yeah,
and-
for if Mark isn't interested in continuing, if that would should be fine.
Right,
If she
Right.
would be interested, that would
okay,
be,
so you can save it then. It sounded like Kate, that's what Kate thought he had
He was,
already
yeah,
tried to do, right? But
yeah, she seemed to imply that he
Right.
wasn't much of a participant at this
Right.
point.
so
it's
has
not
has
interested.
Christine applied to us?
no, she said she was gonna apply to there's a application that has to be, Kate told her, there was an application that you have to fill out for the county.
Do you think it'd be possible to get I don't know Christine personally, would it be
So I don't
possible
know
for me
that
to get
she did
a
it
copy
yet,
of that
so
application?
We probably
Perhaps
have
this is-
an application for her though,
We have it,
for the CSAC,
we
right?
do have that
Oh,
already,
okay,
because we appointed her.
got it.
I
Sorry.
will write and ask her where she's at with that, and you can ask Mark and Kate.
Yeah.
Can connect the whole circle, and then if we need somebody, she's interested.
Wonderful. Well,
Okay,
I would enjoy having an abundance of potential volunteers.
right, then it would be good, because then she comes, she's actually the secretary now of CSAC, so,
Oh, wonderful.
yeah, so that's good. So what am I doing? I'm asking her, okay, I'm asking Chris about the application.
Great.
And I'll ask Kate to circle back if you want to know.
Wonderful.
It's okay. And I'll send this to Chris with the other, and you guys save it for.
Yeah,
later
no,
if you
that's
need
really
it.
helpful. So, then we, Roxanne, Niels and I met and went through the applications we'd received for both applications and expressions of interest, but so we're eliminating to the application. And we are recommending Ann DePetta as a community member, Rebecca Schneider to represent the planning board, Roxanne to represent CSAC. And those are the three recommendations we're making for this evening for appointment to the comprehensive plan steering committee. But because I should additionally say, even though it's not part of the resolution, is that we would like to continue to do outreach to continue to fill seats, but this would give us at least a place to start, a working place to start. And there are things that even a small working group can do to start doing public engagement, to start working on our webpage, things like that. Not taking any sizable, and this is how we're planning the future of Ulysses, but actually just getting the ball rolling. With the hopes of being able to start filling more seats as we go.
And just as a further addition to that, that document that I sent everybody on the board is a full summary of the meeting that we had, Caitlin, Niels and I, and all of the people who have applied so far or expressed any interest in what the status of that was, so.
And we had a
So
number
you
of
had a-
people, right,
Right.
express interest, but not
follow up.
actually follow through with real interest in that kind of manner. So,
And, right, well, it actually, in this resolution, I do say that we're gonna continue multiple avenues of outreach, so. Just so it's clear that this isn't the whole thing, and the town board rep, I guess you'll appoint them the
yeah,
the
well,
organizational meeting. So
Yep.
that would be 4 people to help Niels just move along while we continue the ag meeting, all the outreach meetings that we're still doing and collecting more applications, because we wanted to get a broad swath of people from different parts of the town, and I didn't feel like we quite had that yet.
yeah.
Can you repeat those names?
I'll just give you the list right here. It's right here.
I think it's in that document I sent, Chris. I think you got a copy on it too. Yeah. Right. And so do you want me to read this resolution?
Sure.
Okay. So whereas the town board seeks to form a comprehensive plan steering committee that will be composed of broadly representative members of the community and include representatives of the town boards and standing committees as specified in the comprehensive plan update project outline adopted on 9/27/22. And whereas the town board indicated at the November 8th, 2022 meeting, it would begin making appointments at this December 13, 2022 meeting. Be it resolved that the board appoints the 3 names Caitlin just said, so Rebecca Schneider as the planning board rep, Anna Petta as a community member representative, and Roxanne Marino as the Conservation and Sustainability Advisory Committee rep. To the Comprehensive Plan Update Steering Committee with an appointment term to run through the completion of the project. Further resolved that the town will continue multiple avenues of outreach and will consider additional appointments to the committee. And I don't know if you want to do this at the January 24th, 2023 town board meeting upon recommendations from the steering committee working with the town planner and the town board liaison. So I don't know if you want to put another time to reconsider it to show that you're continuing moving forward or not, but that's why I put that there.
Yeah, I don't know if I mean, I like the intention. I wouldn't be opposed to, well, because we're also going to potentially do it at the organizational meeting, potentially. I don't think we're gonna necessarily get any, but that would be a time to do it. There's nothing that stops us from January 10th either, if
Okay.
there's applicants.
Or at whatever, but I thought, I guess my understanding was that we, the subgroup of people would still talk about them, so
Right.
the board would just appoint somebody that nobody had talked about, but maybe you will. Yeah, so how do you want to change this?
I don't know, at future town board meetings, I received, just since we last spoke, I received an application request. That person has not filled out the application yet, but I received an application request this morning. So for someone who may be interested, so.
Well,
Depending on the
yeah,
timeline.
So it would seem like it would be good to at least have enough time that we could have the sub meeting again to talk about it, or unless you don't want anybody to make recommendations to the board as to how it fits together as
No,
the committee's coming together.
Yeah, I think we'll have 2 more, there are gonna be 2 board member. People, identified also, and so. We can, I don't know if the intention is to run it by everybody who's already been on. The steering committee to then pick additional members, or. If it can be done.
Well, whatever you want to do. We can just take out at the January 2023 meeting. Consider additional appointments
Yeah,
in 2024. I don't know,
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted it to seem like it was, the board was making it as a
we'll discuss that.
important action
Yeah,
item.
nothing
Right.
wrong putting it on the agenda.
Right. Or you could put January 10th then if you want, or 24th, January 10th then.
Well, maybe just January, because that would give us some flexibility. I don't want to
January.
commit to January 10th
Town
and
board
not have
meeting.
any.
Right, well, it
Yeah.
just said you'll consider additional appointments at the
Yep.
10th or 24th or whatever. Whatever you want, just January 2023 town board meeting.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So you move that.
Reading the rest of
Yeah.
it as written. Okay.
Okay.
I'm assuming you're moving that?
Yes.
I'll
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
The B committee?
yep, B
I
committee.
am not as organized as Roxanne. I don't have a resolution. I was just gonna bring up the names and say, shall we appoint them?
I think we can do that. We'll be fine.
But I got applications from 5 people. I also got some interest on the part of 4 other people who have not submitted applications yet. But it looks like it's going to be a pretty strong committee. We have Dorothy Brown, who moved here from Los Alamos, New Mexico, where she was not served on a B committee there. We have Gail Shapiro, who's a horticulturalist with a particular interest in native pollinator plants. We have Gunther Kyle, who is a 50-year beekeeper, and Allison James, who's also interested in natural habitats, and Vivian Rose. So I would like to, and would like to appoint these people to the B committee. We plan to meet in January.
Can you refresh my mind? What's the B committee gonna do?
So we're gonna come up with list of native plants and native plant suppliers. We have to do an inventory of pollinator areas within the town, which would feed into some of the comprehensive plan stuff that's going on. We have to plan a annual event, pollinator event open to the public.
Pollinator?
Yeah.
Could be anything.
It could be anything, yeah, it could be about bees, it could be about flowers, it could be about how to turn your backyard into a wildflower pollinator habitat.
And I think we have to write a report, right?
Yeah, write a
the end of the year,
report
yeah.
and also some wording in the comprehensive plan about protecting pollinators.
Okay.
And integrated pest management, integrating that into the policies of the town.
Oh, that'd be
But we don't have to do all this, right away.
great.
No, you have at least till March.
Yeah, in 1 year.
All right, cool.
Awesome.
So moved.
What is the term?
I don't know. I was thinking 2 years. But maybe, should they be staggered, maybe? Doesn't matter.
Well, maybe get started appointing everybody and then. can
And
see,
then
Yeah.
figure it all out
Yeah.
later. I
Like,
think maybe we'll do
those
that.
kind of committees, people kind of come and go a lot.
Yeah,
Just briefly,
yeah.
so-
I would appoint them for a year.
Let's do it for, yeah, we could do it for a year through
Okay.
December 31st. And
Who's effective?
See how it's.
Yeah, that's true.
And they can see if they want to continue to, since it's a new thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
That makes
for one,
sense.
so, for 1 year. or,
1 year term starting in January, because we're not gonna meet until next year.
Through December 31st, 2023.
Correct.
Yeah,
and it'll be codified in the org document too, so. Just need to get those names from you.
do you want me to send them to you and Carissa?
That'd be great.
You have them.
Okay.
Oh, you have,
Oh, you have them.
yeah, you, it's the one. you
Yeah, I
sent
sent them
before.
already.
Yeah,
You want that disorganized?
okay, so
Okay.
there's an emotion,
So, yeah.
there's a second, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Uh,
Aye. Okay. And then we have a motion. The title is incorrect on the resolution, but the resolution itself is correct. Motion to cancel the December 27th, 2022 regular meeting.
There's somewhere about December 20th. as well.
I know, no, it's, like, yeah, in the title, it's a December 20th. In the resolution itself, right below it, it says correctly December 27th.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Okay. And then the last thing, as I just wanted to, I printed off a copy for everybody. It is kind of big, but 24, 24, no, 12, it comes out to 12 pages, double-sided. Excuse me, it's the uniform code update. So this is, New York State has updated its, uniform building code. And it's requiring municipalities to repeal their existing code and replace it with the new code, Newtown Code titled Construction Codes Uniform.
See, this is what that stretch code is about.
Yeah, but they sort of abandoned that. Well, because these things were all being changed and then they're waiting to see what happens with the CLCPA's implementation. And so they just got rid of that action item in the clean energy communities. As far as I know, that's what our regional coordinator told me. So, but I think it's related to that and why they probably abandoned it.
What was in there in here?
I don't think so.
No,
No.
no, this is not, Nate, correct me if, this makes for some scintillating reading. So I gotta tell you.
It's
Um,
gripping, absolutely gripping.
Even our code officer was finding his eyes drifting.
So-
So go, can you explain it?
Yep. So the way I describe this to my other clients is every so often, every few years, the state promulgates a recommended model law for enforcement and administration of the uniform code, property building, maintenance, and fire code. And so every few years they tweak it. This is the most recent iteration of the state's model law. They require everybody to update it and adopt it. And instead of trying to do a line by line, we're changing this section and that section and the other section, it's frankly just a lot easier to say we're repealing the prior law and adopting the new model law. And that's ultimately what it breaks down to. If you would like to incorporate things like the stretch code or more references to the energy code, some clients have done that or are trying to do that. I would ask your code officer, where they think that would be especially appropriate. I can certainly do that also. And then there's some things that potentially you might choose to address or revise. But frankly, most clients just take it, adopt it, call it a day.
So we got this draft. Right now it's sitting with Mark and Niels because we do have some slight ability to tweak things related to permitting, how long building permits how many times they can be renewed, for instance. In our current building code, it is, you can do 2 renewal rounds. I talked to Mark after I talked to you, Nate, 2 rounds. So they might have, Mark in particular might have a couple of things he would like to see added in to, for continuity from how things are currently done. My intention would be that at the January 10th meeting, which is our first regular meeting, at that meeting, we could discuss this further. We would have the time to have incorporated that feedback into the draft, because the draft you have right here, there is one moment where it says Broome County, it needs to say Tompkins County. This was really just for discussion purposes. We anticipate that at the January 10th meeting, we will have the finalized version that we want to bring to the public. And at that point, then we could schedule a public hearing. Presumably for the 24th, which is our other regular meeting in January, and potentially adopt at that meeting. So that would be the kind of the timeline we're moving for. But I just wanted to introduce this because it is, it's important and it's fairly long. And
How different is it from what we did current code?
it's not really that sizably different.
No, and the state has actually issued, and I apologize, I should have tried to locate it to also distribute to you a brief summary of what the state considers the changes. substantive changes from one to the next. And so I'm sure Mark has probably received an email from the state even outlining this stuff, because the state has been trying to remind everybody to do this. So I will look for it. We can ask Mark to also find it. Whoever gets it first, we'll make sure that it gets to Caitlin to distribute to the rest of you.
Okay. All right.
So that was just a fun FYI. And that brings us to the end of new business.
I
And
would like to put on the agenda for sometime, maybe this discussion of like the recreation field. I mean, I think we need a full discussion of what the town might be willing to do to fund some of those things. Or should the town own some properties like that? Because I think from a maintenance standpoint, if the town owned some of these fields, it'd be much less expensive to maintain them through the highway department than it is for any other owner to hire out all that stuff.
I'm happy to put that on a future town board agenda. We can do it in January, maybe. Oh, how would you feel about the 24th?
That's fine.
We can put that on that. Let me back, I will take care of that. I have my calendar open. I don't. I'll make myself a note. Never mind. I was making you wait for me.
I'm just circling back to this EMC, resolution that you had on here, Roxanne, was we decided that more information needs to be.
Yeah,
Okay.
it might get brought back up in January once we have clarity on what Kate told me, confirming that Caitlin confirms, connects with Kate and Mark, and everybody's on the same page.
Okay. Certainly have that, okay. That brings us to, report. Did you want to do your water report now? I will come back and do,
Water report?
yes, rural source
Oh,
water,
the source water protection
yeah,
project.
Yep.
Right, just briefly, we had our third meeting, on yesterday, Monday. And I mean, the committee's, it's really great and everybody's very enthusiastic. And, so Steve Winkley, the New York Rural Water Association Technical Specialist, who's assisting us with this project and eventually coming up with a draft drinking water, source water protection plan for the board to consider adopting. And so we're just sort of moving through, we decided to follow the New York State framework for creating a drinking water source protection plan, which was drafted by the Department of Health and the DEC. And Steve recommended this, as it's helpful in qualifying us for New York State funding opportunities. For example, the Climate Smart Communities program. And it's also the framework that the other Tompkins County municipalities he's worked with have used, and he's done one with Enfield, with Dryden, and I believe with Caroline. And so, so there's 4 phases to that with kind of key components. So the first phase is the stakeholder group phase. And so task 1 is form a stakeholder group, which the board did. And then task 2 within that is to establish goals and formulate a vision. So that was what we worked on at the last meeting, and we have something for that. And then the second phase is the drinking water source assessment. And so that's a lot of technical research and pulling together data that's out there and information, making maps. And Steve Winkley, who's a hydrogeologist, is going to be doing much of that. And so then this committee would review it and bring it periodically to the board. But within that, we want to do a survey of the town, again, a town-wide survey of water issues, concerns, needs, that's parallels the one that was done in 2009, because we have a, GIS, we have a database for that. So it will be really nice to see how that changed, and also added, it'll inform a lot of things. And so he had, Enfield did a survey. And so he is going to send us that one, and So that at the next committee meeting in January, we'll start talking about that. Obviously, we're not sending anything out without the board authorizing it, but like developing it and working it through to bring to the board, for sending it, well, help for sending out, but I think it's part of the funding that we have that I don't think that we have to pay for that. I think he will, but, anyway, and so then there are two more, but I'll get that clarification on that. There's two more key components, which is the protection and implementation strategies, once you have all of the data, and including on potential contaminant sources and inventory of those. And then there's sort of the fourth phase is sort of maintenance, to keep up the plan going and designate, the team that would do that. So, so we were talking about, he said that the state prefers that they get the full draft plan from the committee before the town board is asked to approve or adopt it, because they have back and forth with their review process. So this is like the state would look at it and give you comments back and approve it from their viewpoint, and then the board would, but we all thought this is a bit of a chicken and egg thing there, because then, you don't want to have a really pretty final thing, send it to the state, get everything iterated, and then have the board say, well, wait a minute, we didn't have enough input into this first, so the committee was just going to suggest that, well, I'm doing this report now at this board meeting, but then in the future, we could give short reports while the work is in a particular phase is ongoing, and then give a written summary or a longer report, a 10-minute PowerPoint or whatever you want, like when another phase is concluded. So phase one is concluded, and I can just send you the report would be short. It's a vision statement, which I could read here if you want or not. And then the 7 or 8 goals that we identified as per their format of a vision statement of goals. And then, the phase 2 will be ongoing for a while. We'll be getting data and stuff, so we could do a presentation of that at some point. But so just to try to, whatever is the format the board would like to feel like they're kept in the loop enough so that it, it all goes the way everybody wants. So the vision statement is, so again, this is a drinking water protection, source water protection plan. The town of Ulysses will protect the quantity and quality of both groundwater and surface water used by its residents, businesses, and landowners by identifying threats, enacting protective measures, engaging community support, and pursuing resources to ensure adequate and safe drinking water. And then the goals are to inventory drinking water quality and quantity resources. So some of these, they happen, that's what all these maps are. Assess water resource quality and quantity issues and possible solutions to protect public health and well-being, evaluate current and future land use and how it affects water quality and quantity. So that's how these two things kind of dovetail with the comprehensive plan. Are the input from that committee. Coordinate with partners to pursue common goals to protect water quality. That would be like the health department and groups like that. Encourage land management practices that reduce impacts of surface water runoff and promote groundwater recharge. Increase public awareness of threats to water quality and encourage protection of source water as a shared community resource. Monitor areas of potential concern of source and groundwater. So those would be sort of goals that, within this plan, you try to write out potential action items after you gather all the information. And I can email this, I'll just write it as a little summary and send it all to you.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's, and I'll just fix this up a tiny bit and send it to you, so. You'll have it,
Okay.
but that's where that is.
Excellent. Does anybody else, I have a kind of a laundry list of stuff that I wanted, does anybody else have any other?
Oh, I
updates?
was just going to mention a couple of things.
Great.
The one thing I wanted to mention, I should have mentioned before, was Kate took the B committee idea to the EMC, and actually there were 2 people there in other communities are interested in also forming bee friendly communities.
Great.
So that's kind of nice.
You're pollinating the idea.
don't have any
Great.
board or.
Um,
Pollinated.
And then as far as the ag committee goes, we kind of couldn't get things together to meet in December. So I'm hoping that January will be we'll be fortunate to have this event that I suggested to Niels might be best hosted at the fire hall. Because the Racker Center is not renting out to outside parties starting in 2023. So but the fire hall is a nice neutral spot that has a lot more room than here.
Yeah.
And the only thing is the parking is not very good, but it's not impossible. So anyway, I'm hoping that we'll get some movement on that. Sure, and sometime soon. That's it.
Awesome. Michael or Rich, is there anything you wanted to update us? Okay, I will run through quickly personnel. Scott was able to make an offer. We had a position open in highway, and he was able to find somebody who meets the MEO qualifications, which is all by itself a huge accomplishment, because the MEO to qualify for an MEO, to be licensed as an MEO, they've radically increased what you have to do to get that license, combined with how expensive it is. And there's a shortage of people with MEO license. And so we ended up pillaging somebody from Tompkins County, which I'm sure doesn't make Tompkins County very happy, but we pay more. And that's the problem actually that the highway, the director for highways for the county is routinely complaining is the county pays the least. And so they keep losing qualified employees to surrounding municipalities. But we are happy that we're gonna have someone starting on December 19th next week. And so Dennis will be joining us the 19th, and I'll send out a message when he is actually on board. I have learned to wait until employees are in the door and have signed on the dotted line before making announcements. The project assistant position closed, and we've got 6 applicants. So we have a nice pool, multiple ones from within the town of Ulysses, which is also very nice. And so interviews are starting at the end of this week. And that's the position that's jointly held between planning, well, not jointly, but planning, zoning, and supervisor's office. So people from all of those groups are going to be interviewing.
And is that's the one that would do some of the.
Yeah.
So
So
clerking for
Yep.
the planning. board
Yeah, planning board and BZA actually. will
And
clerk.
the water, so the water committee too. so,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Yep.
Okay, great.
And as Rich has mentioned, at least to me, Rabbit Run, if you have a chance to drive by Rabbit Run, we had a property there that was really collapsing in and of itself in terms of violations on building code and zoning. And we, without having to go to court, without spending legal money, Mark has done a really good job working with one of the owners to get the property cleaned up. So there is a tremendous amount of stuff that no longer exists on that property, and cleanup continues. So that's a real, we got a couple complaints from the side of the community. And so it was good to be able to, it's being actively addressed. It already has lost like 90% of the stuff that was there. So that's where we are there. Update on Camp Barton is that finally finally, New York State finished the appraisal process. And based on my most recent understanding from Fred at State Parks, the Boy Scouts are moving towards receiving a purchase offer from New York State for the property. The Boy Scouts have been actively mitigating the lead issue associated with the shooting range. They're anticipating that complete abatement, which will take it to like essentially free and clear status, is supposed to be finalized next week. So things are happening. People are still feeling optimistic. So I would assume that there's gonna be more for the municipalities to do in early 2023, hopefully. But again, the Boy Scouts have not signed anything yet because they don't have the final paperwork from New York State. We are kind of in a little bit different kind of personnel issue. At last month, we recognized that Ethan was outgoing for being our rural youth services staff member who's funded through us in the village, but hired through Cornell Cooperative. Cornell Cooperative has been advertising that position. They have at least one applicant at my last update from them, which was the first Tuesday, so last week. But the position was still open, so they were hoping to get some more applicants. The process for that is that the town, the village youth commission will have an active role in getting to participate to help to vet and provide feedback, because this really is, even though they are employed officially through Cornell Cooperative, they're working for us. It's our funding that pays for that position. So Ethan did the job for 7 years, and I understand from, Ben Carver was on the committee at that point, also the commission at that point, that the municipalities have the ability to take a pretty active role in that process. So that's my update, but we most likely, best case scenario, won't have somebody fulfilling the duties in that position until March. So that, in a nutshell, is some big picture stuff we got going on. So moving on, so we have December 26th and January 2nd, both Mondays. The town building will be closed. We have our organization meeting now. It's not tentative anymore. It's been scheduled for January 5th at 8:15 with our regular town board meeting happening on January 10th. Moving on, the minutes actually didn't get posted online, so I would suggest that we, that's okay. I didn't catch it until it was too late
I
to
was gonna
change my.
email, but I thought maybe I just. I looked twice in the end of the email and online, because I've missed things like that.
So I was just gonna suggest we move that to January 10th. And we have no budget modifications. We're gonna do all of 2022 budget modifications in one fell swoop when we start at the January 10th meeting to kind of hopefully close out. I've asked the village is our outstanding soul who needs to get us a bill for shoveling for the property that and they're going to get it, they're going to try and get it to us so we can close out all of the bills for 2022 at the first meeting in January. That is our goal, because like we'd very much like to close out the year in a speedy way. So that brings us to payment of audited claims. And you do have your short little resolution. We have vouchers number 527 through 588 in the amount of $163,959.79.
So
Second, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Thank you. And that brings us back now to privilege of the floor. Is there anyone in the public who, there's no one in present with us, in person with us, I don't even know what I'm saying. In person with us, is there anybody in the public online who wishes to address us in privilege of the floor? Just come on visual or off mic or on mic. Not seeing anybody jumping up and down.
what about the broadband study survey that came through?
Last time I checked, 44 people had participated in the town of Ulysses. Been circulated in the newsletter. Have you had?
I've been getting an email from somebody saying,
Right, I could.
fill this out,
Yeah.
and, I mean,
Did you personal email or town email?
town, I guess.
I think they found at least broadband continues to be an important area for our parts of our town, of the county. Like Caroline might be getting money through the COVID recovery funds from the county for a broadband. For broadband support, I remember when Ulysses was included in the broadband survey before, the households without broadband access was around 20. It
Right,
wasn't.
yeah,
Is Linda heading up that committee? I thought she was.
Yeah, you're, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's about right. And that's why I'm kind of wondering what this survey was supposed to be. What are they trying to accomplish with the second survey? Do you know?
Nope, I have no idea.
And they didn't include any of us that were on the original team, so I'm not sure what it's about.
Well, I can tell you, another town supervisor said, well, the irony, of course, is you're reaching out to people, and if they don't have broadband, they're probably not gonna respond to your survey
Yeah,
anyway,
really.
so.
I haven't seen any survey requests personally, so, yeah.
We included it in the newsletter, didn't we?
yeah, I think they've
Yeah.
just been sending them to the.
Town board
to the
members.
Elected officials and
Oh,
the
okay.
and encouraging them to get it
Push it
out
out.
to the residents.
Yeah, and I saw, yeah.
Town
Carissa's-
hall, we had it in the newsletter and, you know.
Right.
Sort of mailing something, I don't know.
Which
how
we are
else to
not
do
doing.
it. Yeah.
So it was the responsibility of everyone to say, yeah, I want to provide some input.
I think so, yeah, just individually if you want to.
Yeah, that'll go far. Yeah.
Well, that's what Caitlin
Yeah,
said, they've gotten 44 responses.
Yeah, you listed 44, that was as of last week, the last update I got,
The last email that we got said 44.
yeah. So,
I mean, out of the outcome, if all they were trying to do is see if broadband got better or worse, the area is pretty well covered, except for the areas that are just really difficult to get to. And given the situation, we're not like Caroline or, further south where they just have massive areas that don't have good quality broadband. So our issue was, it was so sporadic that it's difficult to come up with a solution unless the town's willing to ante up and support them one way or another.
and Dryden is doing that, they're taking responsibility for their own.
They're going to
providing
build them.
broadband. But we,
Yeah.
I just have never, I don't think we've ever moved it as a priority here because we have such minimal places with lack of coverage. Difficult for those property owners, absolutely, but
Yeah,
it's not.
it is. Yeah, but that when you go into it. Yeah.
Affordability, it's just availability.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Well, thank you, Linda. Appreciate
Sure.
it. Not
Yep.
sure why they're doing it. Haven't fully vetted on that point.
Listen, the consortium needs approval of a draft resolution soon. I don't know why I missed this, but we need to do something about approval about a sample resolution, which I can't seem to.
Yeah, I think I was on that thread, Rich. What's the date, you know?
That she sent this?
Yeah.
December 12th.
That was
Yesterday?
Well, yeah, but she sent it to me before and I missed it. This was an urgent request, so. Just a
Okay, let's see.
you see it?
Addition to the agenda.
What?
Is this an
Just
addition?
in addition to the agenda,
What is the urgent request for?
to approve to get each.
Get the insurance,
To approve her insurance.
health
Okay.
insurance. Oh, that's, we can let that go until whenever.
Well, at least we have dental.
Yeah, exactly.
Is what?
At least we have
At least
dental.
We have dental.
Well, our teeth are doing great shape. Hey, Nate. So it sounds like we need to approve another contract, but can we do a resolution to approve pending attorney approval? So you can actually review it before we approve it.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you are otherwise comfortable with I'm going to say the business terms of it, and you just need me to review it for legal form. That's okay.
I mean, I think it's pretty standard. I'm gonna forward it to you, Ken.
That would be great.
It's- I'm not gonna-
No,
So it looks like it says, approval of the 2023 amended municipal cooperative agreement for the health consortium.
Right.
Do we know what the amendments are?
Can you just schedule a 10-minute meeting so you have enough time for everybody to read it if you don't feel comfortable? 'Cause
I mean,
saying,
But
okay,
this, I mean, every year we have to do this.
Right, I just,
do you want to schedule a special meeting for next week?
like one of the ones that has one item that is in the morning. and
I think we should
something
just-
with by Zoom. I mean, I don't, if you feel comfortable with it, I think it's fine, but it's just, if you don't, because Chris was asking what are the amendments and Nate could then review them.
I mean, I'm comfortable with it.
Well, I mean, I can tell you
You
that,
are, sure.
I would plan to read through it and I would ask my attorney to advise there was a problem. I mean, that might be an option too. If people review it and I won't sign it until Nate has signed off on it, but if
If it's
anybody
gotta be
sees a
done
concern,
Right, we'll just authorize you, just sign it.
Yeah.
Pending, not finding any problems.
exactly.
Attorney review.
Right, attorney and.
Well, and frankly, I'd like Blixie to look at it.
Right, yeah,
So,
right, yeah.
attorney and HR review.
And then I guess if you find a problem, you can schedule a special meeting. to
Absolutely.
deal with it.
Yeah.
That would solve
Yeah.
it.
Is that okay with you, Nate? Okay, do we have a title? I'm sorry, could you?
There's a whole sample resolution here.
Yeah,
You want me to read that?
Could you print it off? Would it be possible?
Yeah.
Okay. While we're doing that, is there anybody else from the public who wishes to address us? Hopefully, last minute addition, 'cause the only thing else we have is an executive session. I'd rather take care of business beforehand. Is it printing? I'm sorry, I can't even hear. it. Okay, I'll grab it.
Children off the table.
We can have a cookie break. Yeah, it's time to do this.
I had one of those cookies. It was really
Cookie
filling.
they're very,
Okay.
Well, I printed the whole agreement. and
Yep.
The resolution.
this
There
is
was-
standard.
Sample resolution, okay. Here is the full agreement, if anybody wants to look at it.
Do you want to look at it?
I will plan to look at it. I'm not going to look at it right now.
We need to do a resolution and.
You passed me a peppermint cookie?
Is that these?
Yeah.
Hey, have you seen this already?
No.
Any other times?
Oh,
I just forwarded it.
thank you.
It's pretty boring.
I have not, although I will note, I need to yell at the Village of Owego for not asking me to look at it, because they are a member also.
So they just signed it?
I don't think they have, which means they're also probably in your boat of
Where have I been? I'm a bad boy.
You just want to be taken off this committee
I
next
do.
year.
I do. I've served my time on this committee.
Give it to Liz.
Liz, are you on? You're getting this committee. Liz.
Mary, would you mind, you and Rich, would you mind signing these contracts? This is the ambulance contract. Since we have approved it.
Chris, do you want one of the cookies to come up there? Oh, you got one? Okay.
I will say, based on the email chain that Carissa forwarded, if the only changes are to add 8 new municipal members, and removing the treasurer with duties and responsibilities being performed now by the finance manager, if that is accurate, and it's otherwise identical to the prior versions of this agreement, no problems that I can see. I guess one of the things I would ask the consortium to do going forward is send a red line.
These are extras.
Oh, the
I think
resolution.
that's all it is.
It's the resolution.
Resolution.
In order for more members to come, everybody has to be like a super, almost all the members have to agree, I think. I don't know if it has to be unanimous.
Nate, have you had a chance to see the sample resolution?
I just briefly glanced at it. It looks largely, unobjectionable.
Isn't this the one if somebody rejects it, everybody's got to resend?
I think so.
Yeah.
You gotta-
No, I think that's the,
That's the rec
The
partnership.
direct partnership.
Because everybody's signing it.
Yeah,
This, we're
right.
just signing it.
Right. Okay, all right.
Okay,
But if a bunch of municipalities drop out, then the whole thing won't work. All the costs will be different, so.
So actually just looking at the cooperation agreement, there's language in here that says if you don't submit a resolution containing any objection to amendments to it, then, at least according to this language, you're deemed to have accepted it.
Right. But we still
So we
to
don't
sign.
have to?
Yes, we do.
You should.
I'd like to move that we accept this resolution to a municipal cooperative agreement for 2023 with the Health Greater Tompkins County Municipal Health Consortium.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
So Chris, you'll get this deal in tomorrow.
I'm signing it right now.
So it's rich, you suddenly have some voice in your head saying.
Yeah.
Like there's another thing.
I saw my email. Urgent request, urgent.
But like, what made you look that?
Little birdie in the back. of my
That's
head.
what I was thinking.
about it too, I was like, somebody said something, I was like. No, really.
Here's our signed resolution. Okay. Okay, well, I think that we have not gained any new public members. So I would request, so the plan will be, the town board is gonna provided it's approved by the town board, intend to go into executive discussion related to discussions pertaining proposed, pending, or current litigation and the medical, financial, credit, or employment history of a particular person or corporations or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation. And the intention of the board is to take no action. We would come out and just adjourn the meeting for the night. Is there a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We need to move to the conference room. Nate, would you mind just giving me a call? My battery on my computer is running low, so if you could just call, that'd be awesome.
Sure.
Cool.
You can't just stay here.
We can't because it's under video surveillance.
Oh.
Yeah,
We can't shut that off.
and we can't shut it off. It's always
It's
running.
always under video
Yeah.
surveillance now?
Yep.
Huh.
So
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
every meeting you have an appearance under videos.
it is. It's not under all audio, but to the point of legal counsel, they were recommending to have, well, people could read lips or.
Yeah.
Should we take our stuff?
I'm gonna leave my stuff, but feel free.
Yeah, I think I'll just.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Person?
Yeah.
Will this need to
Mary
be? back
here.
when we come back?
Oh, thank you.
From our book rides. And
Oh, wow. Oh, I can't wait to.
I owed you back from the honey, so.
I'll put my cookies in there.
What's the company?
Totally chocolate or something?
That's a nice little package.
This?
Did you do the? Yeah, do that. Did you send them TV4? Because the town was.
Yeah, at the town.
Oh, yeah, do the.
Okay, the board is back in session. We adjourned executive session at 9:29 PM. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So you get to do an all in favor, but now we are done. Okay,
So the question, I just wanted to, well, one is like, is there a process? So the CZAC have the